Hey guys, it's me, Brianca Jay, and you are tuned in for another episode of Live for Books. And we are coming in hot with 48 Laws of Power. Today we are going to talk about Law 21, play a sucker to catch a sucker. So the artist section here. Yeah, so stay tuned. Let's get into this analysis. Okay, so Law 21 is about playing dumber than you look. Just kind of really showing yourself to be an idiot. Now, if you're a woman, the patriarchy is acting at your advantage. You could literally just not say much and people will just assume that you don't know much. And that's fine. Sometimes you gotta play up the appearances that already are. If they think you slow, just look slow. But the key here is to seem a little bit dumber than the person that you're trying to deceive, con, or overcome. So he starts off saying, play a sucker to catch a sucker, seem dumber than your mark. No one likes feeling stupider than the next person. The trick then is to make your victims feel smart, and not just smart, but smarter than you are. Once convinced of this, they will never suspect that you may have ulterior motives. So the whole goal here is just to play really freaking stupid and make people think that they are so smart, and like it was no way that you could possibly ever deceive them, because like you're so stupid, alright? And so he gives us a story about these two gold miners in San Francisco. And so these guys show up very naive, country, simple, and they convince these big tycoons, real estate investors, and millionaires that there is this diamond mine back in San Francisco. And they dress really shabbily, they go sightseeing, they just act really dunce, and even act like, oh, I don't know if you're giving me a fair deal, please don't get over on me with your quick wits, right? In the end, they pulled off a stupendous con just by like showing themselves as fools. They sold a empty mine. They made some mine for like $12,000 and sold it to the people for like $700,000 or so, or something of that nature. These millionaires thought they had incurred a $1.5 million diamond mine that would churn out $1 million every month, and so they bought it. In the end, the whole thing was just a ruse. There was never a diamond mine at all, and these two proctors, gold miners, got away with all of that money because the Rothschild and Mr. Tiffany just thought it was no way that these men could ever be that genius, right? And so what we learn here is that given how important the idea of intelligence is to most people's vanity, it is critical never inadvertently to insult or impugn a person's brain power. So he says, always make a person feel very smart, and like if you allow them to feel smarter than you, they don't ever really work. Like you never really they don't worry about you. They think you stupid. Like no one's concerned about an idiot, right? They never see the con coming. They never see how it's going to spin around and spin the tables, because they've already counted you out and based your success off of some type of idea they had about your intelligence. They also had this other guy. He comes in and it's like this diplomatic thing. So they come in and the guy is trying to... So in 1865, the Prussian Councillor Otto von Bismarck wanted Austria to sign a certain treaty. The treaty was in total interest of Prussia and against the interest of Austria. So when Bismarck had the guy come over, he didn't want the guy to do too much diligence, and he knew the guy was the kind of man that judged everybody based off of this game called Bloom. So Bismarck chose to play the game with his competitor and lose purposely. Like, they gambled. He lost almost 12 grand, right, in gambling. And he makes this guy think he's an idiot, thinks he's too aggressive. He plays up this dumb, foolish look for this man. It works because the man begins to think, well, hey, I don't have to worry about this dude. He's a bumbling idiot. He just barely looks at the treaty and signs away. And then when he finished signing is when Bismarck says, you are probably the only man on earth who would sign such a treaty. And he's like, what just happened? So what happened was, a heeless fool like Bismarck, he thought, is incapable of cold-blooded calculation and deception. So he only glanced at the treaty before signing it, and he failed to read the fine print. They call this masquerading as swine to kill the tiger. Use an air of naivety to work wonders in your ability to deceive your mark. Always make people believe they're smarter and more sophisticated than you are, and the more opportunities you will have to deceive them. It is not much good being wise among fools and sane among lunatics. He who poses as a fool is not a fool. The best way to be well received by all is to clothe yourself in the skin of the dumbest brutes. So that's pretty much what they're teaching us here, is just kind of play a little dumb. It's like, even they're like, oh my God, like, I never knew that. Tell me, how does that work? Like, I've seen people do that, and I'm like, girl, is anybody buying that? But hey, somebody's probably buying that, so do that if that works for you. If you are joining someone on a project, someone asks you to collaborate with them, kind of play coy a bit to see how much they're offering to bring in to benefit that project too. Like, learn to not immediately give up all of the information that you have. Slowly release it, slowly intake what's going on, because it's important to know a lot, but not important always to reveal so much. Because sometimes just by holding back what you know, you can get a better understanding of the motivations and the intent of the person around you. So for instance, if you know the price of something, but you don't always say it, and you just, hey, how much is that? And then you'll see if they're going to add on to it or drop it or whatever it is, right? Like, so just play coy. Don't be so quick to show people you're smart. If you know you're smart, let that validate you. Don't be so quick to let other people know that you're intelligent, and then see how that plays out. I think a person who does this well in like our modern day time. Well, Kanye, right? We got him playing the act of the fool. He plays like he just is crazy, he's stupid, he's insane, but he also made $1 billion. Is that man crazy? So sometimes playing a bit unintelligent, a bit naive, I didn't know any better, right, can sometimes get us off of the hook. Not all the time. Now, PPP loans, I don't know how it's gonna work. I'm praying for y'all. I'm rooting for you, and I hope that it works. I really do. But I don't know if playing unaware of the rules is going to be the effective way to get out of that. But yeah, play a little slow. I agree. In most instances, it's better to show very little knowledge until it's absolutely necessary to show what you know. I think it's always better to play offense, just simply asking a lot of questions, right? Just ask questions and think about the answers you're being given. I think that's a lot better strategy ever than to simply rattle off everything you know. Of course, one, you're showing everybody, okay, she's smart, she can do this on her own, what do you know, and you're also kind of you can rub people the wrong way with an air of overly intelligence, can come off as arrogance. So just make sure, like, even if you are really, really brilliant and you know that, then you don't need to prove that, right? And so be a little coy. That's the lesson for Law 21. My personal impression, yeah, I agree. Sometimes it's better to be a little slow on the pickup, or pretend to be a little slow on the pickup. Cause see, and I feel like it's easier as a woman. I feel like I don't ever have to try to do this. People will literally just do stuff and assume, I don't know if I look young, I don't know what it is, but people just always like misinterpret my intelligence. And sometimes like I go with it. Like sometimes people be like, what are you thinking about? I'll be like, oh, I don't know. Like, it's just like, sometimes my brain just goes blank, you know? And I will pull that shit. I will pull that shit. Like, especially like, for example, I get so mad when people lie to me. Like, it's annoying, and I don't mean to, but it's like I feel it, I see it, and immediately calculate and know that your ass is lying. But like, it's never in my interest to be like, why are you sitting here lying? Like, it's never in my interest to call a person out on their lie. Like, it's so frustrating though. And so I find myself just acting like, okay, yeah, and I believe that. Like, I just pretend to go with it, and it's frustrating, but it's better. It's like, it makes me mad, but it also tells me a lot about the person. Like, whatever they're lying about, I know like they're lying. I also know the motivations of why they're lying, the intent behind the lie. I may not know what you're hiding, but I know that you're hiding something. And in the end, I know all of this, and you think that I believe your ass. And so you are feeling confident in your lie, and you can do more things, not knowing that on my end, I'm like, okay, this person's a liar, so let me just move and act accordingly. Let me do what I need to do for me and not put too much time or energy into this, because obviously they a liar. Anyway, so that's just my tidbit on Law 21. That's what I think. I want you guys to make sure you're checking out www.litforbooks.com. I'm going to have, I already have a bunch of stuff there, including like my literary analysis papers, access to my YouTube videos. I got free resources over there. I have my children's books that I sell over there. I offer tutorial services. I also offer help with your academic essays. So if any of that is something that you need and you want to know about, I suggest you go ahead and hit the link in the description box. Go over to litforbooks.com. Check out the rebrand. And yeah, I'm going to see y'all next time. It's always great to show up for y'all. So let me know what law that you want me to talk about next. Toodles.